Okay, so you're thinking about Europe for 2025. It can feel a bit daunting, right? Like, so many options.
Absolutely. Choosing just one spot is tough.
Yeah. So that's why we did this deep dive. We went through a travel guide podcast, basically pulling out their top 10 European countries for next year.
And the idea isn't just another list. We're trying to get to the heart of each place. What makes it tick?
Exactly. No overwhelming detail dumps. Just focused insights, maybe some emerging trends for 2025, stuff to spark your curiosity, those aha moments.
Hopefully without drowning you in facts.
Right. So let's kick things off. First stop, Italy. The guide calls it the eternal allure, which feels pretty spot on.
Hard to argue with that.
Think Rome, golden hour, Colosseum glowing, wandering those cobbled lanes. You stumble upon the Trevi Fountain, find some amazing little family trattoria.
Handmade pasta. It's not just the food, is it? It's the stories, the whole atmosphere.
Totally. And what I liked is how the guide, balances the big hitters like Rome with other spots.
Like Florence.
Yeah, Florence with its art, but also the quieter streets. And the Amalfi Coast, just described as pure magic. Cliffside towns, that lemon scent.
It paints a picture, doesn't it? That contrast is very Italian.
And here's something interesting for 2025 planning.
Yeah.
They really push this idea of slow travel.
Okay. Less rushing.
Exactly. Highlighting places like Matera or Civita di Bagnoregio, smaller towns. The idea seems to be about really experiencing the place, lingering, not just sightseeing.
That makes sense. We're seeing that trend more broadly, I think. People wanting a deeper connection, maybe avoiding the biggest crowds, spending more time in one region.
Yeah, settling in. And obviously, Italy, the food, can't forget that.
Never.
Creamy carbonara, truffle risottos. The guide mentions gelato under the stars. It says it feeds the body and soul.
Which it absolutely does. Food there is like a whole language. It's central to the experience.
Okay, moving west. Spain. The guide talks about its fire in the soul.
Ooh, I like that.
Starts with Barcelona, calls it an open-air art gallery. Gaudi's surreal stuff, Park Güell.
Right, unavoidable in the best way.
And the buzz of La Rambla. But also, interestingly, the beaches. Even in spring, they say there's a kind of magic.
Yeah. Seeing the beach vibe outside of high summer is a nice angle. Avoid some of the intensity.
Then it heads south. Andalusia, flamenco in Seville, Moorish palaces, those whitewashed villages.
Oh, the Pueblos Blancos.
So picturesque.
And the Alhambra in Granada gets a big mention. Intricate mosaics, those gardens. Sounds incredible. History just breathing around you.
Andalusia is just layers upon layers of history and culture. The Alhambra is sort of the crown jewel of that.
Then a total shift up to the Basque Country, San Sebastian.
Foodie heaven.
Exactly. Positioned as a top spot for food lovers. And then you've got this rugged coastline right there described as pure poetry. Such a contrast.
It really is. World-class pinsos 1 minute, dramatic cliffs the next. You get both.
And the 2025 trend for Spain seems to be more rural tourism. Okay. Hiking the Camino de Santiago or finding these lesser-known villages. Rondo was mentioned, Casés. Right, getting off the beaten track a bit more. Spain has so much interior beauty beyond the coast and big cities.
Yeah, seems like you can get that vibrant city hit and a chance to properly unwind. The guide wraps up Spain by saying it leaves you feeling, well, passionate.
That sounds about right. It definitely has an energy.
Next up, France. Described as having layers of luxury and legacy. Paris, obviously.
Of course.
But the advice is, go beyond the icons. Get lost in the Marais, maybe grab some wine by the Canal Saint-Martin.
Nice. More local vibes.
Yeah, watch street performers near Sacré-Cœur, pop into Shakespeare and Company, just savor a croissant and people watch. It's about those smaller moments.
That's a great way to approach Paris. Experience it rather than just seeing it.
And then the guide zooms out, shows the diversity. Loire Valley Castle Country.
Oh yeah, fairy tale stuff.
Provence with lavender fields, Mediterranean food, and Alsace, which sounds like stepping into a storybook. Those timbered houses.
Each one is so distinct, isn't it? Shows the incredible range France has. Alsace really does look like something out of a grim tale.
And for a 2025 discovery, they flag Corsica.
Oh, interesting. The island.
Yeah, a French island, but with its own fierce identity. Mountain trails, hidden coves, maybe fewer tourists. Sounds appealing.
Definitely tapping into that desire for something a bit different, maybe more rugged.
The guide's final take on France. It's like a recurring love letter.
I could see that. It draws you back.
Okay, let's head to Portugal. The guide calls it the Atlantic's best-kept secret. Maybe not so secret anymore, but still.
Still feels a bit underrated sometimes compared to Spain, maybe.
Could be. Lisbon gets a nod, obviously. Tram 28, the Alfama district, but also the modern food scene, like Time Out Market.
Good mix of old and new there. And you have to mention Fado music, that melancholic sound.
Oh yeah, definitely. Captures the soul. Then Porto Riverside cafes, port wine cellars.
The Don Luis Bridge, those colorful houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, Porto has such a distinct feel, really captures northern Portugal.
And the Algarve is still flagged as a top beach spot for 2025, especially those hidden sea caves like Benagil.
Benagil is stunning. Those photos are everywhere for a reason. But the Algarve has lots of quieter spots too.
Right. And here's a modern twist. The guide points to Portugal for remote workers.
Ah, yes. That's definitely a thing.
Suggesting smaller towns like Ericeira or Setúbal. Authentic living, but with, decent Wi-Fi and good coffee.
It makes sense. Good quality of life, beautiful setting, relatively affordable, ticks a lot of boxes for digital nomads.
Moving east now.
Ugh.
Greece. Between myth and magic, the guide says.
Evocative.
Athens, naturally. The Acropolis, feeling that ancient democracy vibe. And the Klaka district, cafes, rooftop dinners, looking at the Parthenon.
Classic. But beautiful.
But the guide really encourages looking beyond the super famous islands like Santorini.
Good advice. It can get intense there.
Yeah. Suggests places like Naxos, Syros, Amorgos for more untouched magic, where villagers might still be baking bread in old ovens, fishermen bringing in the catch.
That sounds lovely. A more authentic, maybe slower-paced Greek island experience. That's what a lot of people are seeking now.
And for 2025, the spotlight is on Crete.
The biggest island. So much to offer.
Totally. Booming ecotourism, apparently. Mountains, waterfalls, Minoan ruins. You can do cave hikes, sailing trips, even agro-tourism. Staying with local families sounds really immersive.
That's fantastic. Crete has the scale and diversity for that kind of sustainable, experience-focused travel.
And the food, of course. Simple, fresh, olive oil, feta, grilled lamb, oregano, just perfect.
Greek food is just sunshine on a plate, isn't it?
Okay, big jump north now. Norway. The guide calls it the wild whisper of the north.
Ooh, dramatic. I like it.
Oslo gets a mention, but the real focus seems to be the landscapes, especially the Lofoten Islands.
Oh, stunning. Those jagged peaks rising straight out of the sea.
Yeah, red fishing cabins. And depending on when you go, midnight sun or northern lights, just epic.
Truly unforgettable experiences. The light there is just different.
Bergen also features picturesque, right? Colorful wooden buildings tucked between mountains and fjords.
Classic Norway.
Yeah.
And a cruise through the Greenranger Fjord is mentioned.
Yeah, described as breathtaking, which I imagine it is.
Understatement, probably.
What's key for 2025, according to the guide, is Norway's focus on sustainability.
Right, they're leaders in that.
Electric ferries, green hotels, eco-villages. It's becoming more accessible to travel green there.
That's a huge plus for many travelers now.
And they highlight the range of experiences, like the tough Trolltunga hike for adventurers, but also just peaceful fjordside sauna, something for everyone, it seems, but all very raw, real quiet.
That quietness is part of the appeal, I think. It's a place to connect with nature on a grand scale.
Okay, next, Czech Republic. A mix of Gothic stories and golden beer, apparently.
Sounds about right.
Prague is the star, obviously.
Yeah.
Medieval city, twisting lanes, spires, the astronomical clock, you can't ignore it.
It's undeniably beautiful, almost like a film set.
But the advice is explore beyond the main crush.
Good tip. It can get very crowded.
Yeah. They suggest Letna Park for views. The Yuzhikov district sounds kind of artsy and cool, and Vinohrady for more of a local neighborhood feel.
Getting into the different districts is key to understanding Prague beyond the postcard image.
And for 2025, they highlight other regions. Bohemian Switzerland.
Oh, the national park. Sandstone arches, forests.
Exactly. And Brno as a sort of hip alternative city. Cafes, wine bars.
Brno's been getting more buzz lately. A different pace to Prague.
And you can't talk Czech Republic without mentioning beer. The guide emphasizes the pub culture, affordable, heartfelt, just part of life.
Absolutely central. And the beer is fantastic.
So the takeaway is charming, maybe a bit dark or mysterious, but unforgettable.
A good summary. It has a unique atmosphere.
Then Switzerland, where precision and beauty meet.
Very Swiss.
The Glacier Express train gets a shout out. Scenic journey through peaks and valleys, plus the icons, Zermatt and the Matterhorn interlocking for adventure.
Classic Swiss experiences. The scenery is just jaw-dropping.
But for 2025, they nudge towards Appenzell.
Oh, interesting. More traditional.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Cowbells, cheese-making, timeless traditions, a different side of Switzerland.
A glimpse into that pastoral alpine culture.
Nice.
And the guide reminds us about the overall quality: trains on time, trails well marked, and the chocolate, obviously.
Can't forget the chocolate.
It all adds up to this feeling of a balanced, beautiful lifestyle. Things just work.
That efficiency is definitely part of the Swiss identity and travel experience.
Nearly there, penultimate stop, Croatia, where the land meets the sea.
And what a meeting it is. Stunning coastline.
For sure. Dubrovnik's amazing, everyone knows that. But the guide pushes exploring beyond the walls for 2025.
Good call. Spread the love a bit.
Suggests places like Ibenik, Rovinj, Zadar, historic coastal cities.
All beautiful in their own right. Rovin is particularly charming.
And island hopping sounds incredible. Vis for quiet bays, Korčula like a mini Dubrovnik but with wine, and Miljet, this green islands with salt lakes.
Croatia's islands are addictive. Each one has its own character. You could spend weeks just exploring them.
And inland too. Plitvice Lakes National Park, those waterfalls and paths.
Oh, Plitvice is spectacular. Essential if you're going inland. So the appeal seems to be that blend. Amazing beauty, but maybe still a bit more affordable than some other Mediterranean spots.
Yeah, it often offers great value, especially if you venture beyond the absolute hotspots.
Okay, last one. Austria. Embodying harmony in every corner, according to the guide.
Elegant.
Vienna definitely leads. Coffee houses, music, imperial buildings, listening to Mozart, seeing the Belvedere.
That's a cultured grand city.
And Salzburg, too. Baroque beauty, mountain air, the sound of music connection.
Can't escape it, but Salzburg is genuinely lovely.
But looking ahead to 2025, the guide also points towards Tyrol and Vorarlberg.
Yeah, the Alpine regions.
Yeah, focus on eco-friendly mountain retreats, authentic village life, getting into the Alps properly.
Makes sense. More sustainable, nature-focused travel again. Austria does that very well.
And the food schnitzel, strudel, comfort food after being outdoors.
Perfect mountain fuel.
The final vibe for Austria, graceful, grounded, quietly proud.
That feels right. It's maybe less flamboyant than Italy or Spain, but very refined and substantial.
Phew. So that's our whirlwind tour, 10 European countries, and like the guide said, each one really does seem to have its own rhythm, its own scent, its own story.
Absolutely. It's clear that exploring any of these could be, well, pretty transformative. So much variety, so much depth.
Whether you want ancient history, incredible nature, vibrant culture, amazing food, it's all there.
Definitely. Plenty of inspiration, hopefully.
Which leads us to our final thought for you, the listener. Which of those rhythms, those stories, kind of grabbed you just now?
Which one is calling your name?
Maybe it's time to start daydreaming, or even, do a little research, that first step towards potentially experiencing it yourself.
Yeah.
Where might 2025 take you?